Welcome back, Generals, to another Let's Fix General 0 Hour to make the best game ever. Good, so. Yeah. Okay. Validate map paths when creating real map paths. What? Okay. Change memory order. SCD atomic flag test and set is an atomic read modify write. I think it makes more sense to use instead of that. I'm not sure either. Test and set. So this is a spin lock or what is it? I can't. Is this a spin lock or is this not a spin lock? There's a wait here. It's not a busy wait by the looks of it. I'm actually not so sure about this. What is it? Atomic flag, bit set and test and set example. There's no example here. Okay, let me ask brother ChatGPT. So we have void lock. Oops. Void lock. Test and set. Flag is, what is flag? Here. Flag. So before it was release, no, acquire. 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 What is the practical difference between these two lock implementations? Let's see. Memory ordering. Let's break it down. Common ground. Both versions implement a spin lock. Okay. Both use test and set to atomically set the flag and check the previous value. Wait true to set the flag and check the previous value. Wait true to block until the flag is cleared. Wait true. False. Reducing CPU usage. Lock 1 uses that. Acquire on success. Prevents hoisting of load stores after the lock. I have no idea what that means. Release on failure. Ensures all prior writes are visible before releasing the lock. Ensures all prior writes are visible before releasing the lock. This is appropriate only if this thread may also release a lock. May also release the lock, which is not typical for a lock function. Okay, so acquire only semantics. Ensure visibility of writes made by other threads before they release the lock. Visibility of writes made by other threads before they release the lock. This is a correct choice for a lock function in most standard usage. So which one is correct? Lock 2 is a more correct and idiomatic implementation of a spin lock. Okay. So lock 2 refers to how it currently is in main branch. Lock 1, that's the edit, is overly strict. The memory order release portion is unnecessary in test and set during lock acquisition. It may even suggest confusion about the semantics. Minimal difference in many cases, but lock 1 may cause unnecessary memory barriers on some platforms. Lock 2 better expresses intent. You want to acquire the lock, not release it. That makes sense, yeah. Use lock 2. Okay, let me copy this text. GPT says this. Okay. So from what I see here, this change proposal is not necessary. Unfortunately, this atomic stuff is so complicated. I'm not so good in this acquire, release, and the memory barriers. It's so confusing. I'm not an expert in the memory ordering stuff, so I gladly take the assistance from people who know more about this, or from AI that probably understands this better. But yeah, to me it makes sense that we would want to acquire. We don't release it, right? We release it, the memory barrier, release. We release it when we unlock. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm not sure. Like, I'm not expert in this memory barrier stuff. The easiest is just lock. Just a lock. It's easy, but yeah, memory order is a bit more complicated. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. This one is a draft, so I won't be looking at that. Yeah. Okay. Good. Then, yeah, let's look at this guy here. Mm-hmm. Okay, we go to main branch. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we go to options menu, and we go to right, it's some other function. Save options, right? Save options. There we go. Yeah, resolution. Yeah. Okay, I think yeah, the easiest solution is to just move this to the very end, and that's it. Yeah, behind IP address, proxy, firewall, anti-aliasing. I wonder. Combo box resolution. I wonder if we should put that straight into a new function. Yeah. It's so bad to have this all here in one function. Yeah. Save options. We can also do is I can say what we can also do is just move this part to the end, right? Like we wouldn't need to move this to the end, right? But it's probably easier to just move the whole bulk, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think the easiest is just move this entire thing. Yeah, done. Okay. The super hackers at Bugfix. Today is the 12th of June 2025. Must now performs the resolution change at the very end of processing all the options. Now performs a resolution change at the very end of processing all the options. This is necessary. Right, let's say it must be at the very end because recreating the shell will destroy the options menu, and therefore recreating the shell will destroy the options menu, and therefore disturb any further option menu interactions afterwards, or prevent any further UI element reads afterwards. Now performs a resolution change at the very end of processing all the options. It must be processing all the options. To prevent resetting the IP options, to prevent resetting now performs a resolution change at the very end of processing all the options. I actually wonder if the issue still happens. Let me stash this because we added these other checks, so maybe the issue already no longer happens. Let me check that. We still need to fix it, I think. Yeah, because it would discard. It would still cause bugs, but maybe not as critical. Oh. Okay. So we set this IP, yeah. Then we press accept. Okay, so it is saved. Now we change the resolution. And it has reset it. Okay, so the issue still happens here. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I thought there's a chance that it might not happen, but I am mistaken. Okay, where are we? Yeah. Okay, let's keep on describing. Now performs a resolution change at the very end of processing all the options to prevent resetting other options on resolution. To prevent resetting other options. Prevents the resolution change at the very end of processing all the options. This is necessary because recreating the shell will destroy the options menu and therefore prevent any further interactions afterwards. Any further UI gadget interactions afterwards. Let me also add a comment here at the bottom. There must be no other option here. Never add, let's say, must never add another option here at the end. Okay. Let's test that just to make sure. Okay. Options. So we change here our options. Yeah. You can also punch in some numbers here. Yeah. Then we change the resolution. Accept. And that's okay. Did not. I'm not sure what happened. Hold on. I changed the resolution. Okay, so the IP is the same. But why did this not enter here? What happened there? HTTP proxy. Okay. Okay, so HTTP proxy is just thrown away. I don't know what the valid value is in there. Oops. So if I change resolution and at the same time enter a value there, it does save it. Okay. Okay. And what about the HTTP proxy? What is this? HTTP proxy. What does it do? DDD, translate, set string in registry. Huh. Set string in registry. Okay. And then what? Okay, so it does apply it, but it does not save it here. Interesting. So something is missing here for the HTTP proxy. Yeah. Okay, I never used this option. I have no idea if it even works. Set string in registry. Set string. Okay. And so it should load it from the registry again, right? Get string from registry. Why is this not working then? Hold on. Options. Somehow that is not working. Okay, why not? Let me put a breakpoint here once more. Let me write something here, except. Let's go in here. Oh, Jesus, what is this? Oh, jeez. Okay. Path, full path. Yeah. Set string. Okay, that didn't work. key, proxy, value, full path. So does this work or not? Does it set this? Bye. Yeah. It does. It does open it, yeah. It seems to work. It returns success. It returns success. Okay, so it looks as if it does properly save it into the registry, but then why is it not loading it back then? What is that? What is that? Options. Oh, it called it twice, didn't it? Hold on. Except one and another time. Huh. Why is it saving twice? What is this? Maybe it's just debugger playing tricks. Okay, and then, so why is this now empty then? Oh boy. So get string. It's empty. Okay, let me de-optimize this. And also this. Oops. Options. So get string is empty. Good. So we go here, we type in FFF accepts. So now it sets this. Yeah. Good. So what's next? Open, get string. Okay, so full path, key, proxy, val. That's failed. Debugging doesn't work well. Okay, let me open here the registry editor. Yeah. Local machine. I don't know if it's local machine. EA Games. Electronic Arts. EA Games. EA Games. Where is it? I don't see it. It's not there. No EA games. Maybe it's here then. I don't know where to look. The music is shit. Software. EA Games. Electronic Arts. There we go. EA Games. Okay, there is a proxy here. It is here. Okay, why is it not, why can it not load its proxy? Why can it not load it back? I don't understand this. This is weird. We cannot really debug this thing because somehow it just doesn't want to step in this function here for some reason. What if we place it here? Does that work? Okay, how about we make pragma optimize off here? Let's try that. Okay, so. Oh man, this is so annoying. Local machine. Okay, so local machine fails. It reads an empty value, an empty key from local machine. Oh. I think I know what the problem is. It's about privileges. If it runs unelevated, it has to dump it into the user, right? Into the user registry. If we have admin privileges, which is how I launched it time ago, then it's able to write this registry key into local. Yeah, okay. I see. I see. How would we solve this? Oof, there's no straightforward fix for this. How would it know to... Oof. I don't know. So the problem is we can read from HKey local machine, but we cannot write to it. So when we write out this proxy key, it writes it in here, but it reads it from here. And that's why it never updates. Yeah, I see. Okay, how would we solve that? How would we solve that? I don't know. We probably shouldn't write to the registry in the first place, I guess. I will open a bug report for now. It's not a big issue. Yeah, okay. So it's this one. And this one. Get string from registry. Is a bit bugged. Get string from registry can fail to read from the correct location, depending on admin privileges. Privileges. Maybe it's written like this. Depending on process admin privileges. This is reproducible with the HTTP proxy setting in the options menu. When launching the game once as admin, then the game will write a proxy key into HKey local machine. Then when launching the game without admin privileges, then when launching the game without admin privileges, the proxy key will be written to the game will write a proxy key into HKey current user. But when reading the key, it will be able to read from HKey local machine first. This is a bug. Problematico. Problematico. Okay, so that's issue type bug, label, bug of minor. Correct registry location depending on process admin privileges. Can fail to read from the correct location depending on process admin privileges. This is reproducible as the HTTP proxy setting in the options menu. When launching the game once it admins, then the game will write a proxy key into HK. Okay. When using the game, without admin privileges, the game will write a proxy key into HKey current user. But when reading, it will be able to read from HKey first. This is a bug. The game, yeah, I'm not sure what the correct fix here is. Okay, but it's not a big deal, so I won't bother with this for now. That's okay. Okay. Anyway, the issue otherwise that we looked into is fixed. Yeah, which is pretty straightforward. Good. Then we reset this one. And this. Then we create a new branch and we call it fix options menu. IP options bug. Let's say options reset bug. Okay, so this is 0 hour. Fix IP fix fix options how do we describe this? Fix wrong option resets, fix incorrect option resetting in options menu on display resolution change. Fix incorrect option resetting. Fix incorrect. Let's fix incorrect IP. Fix IP options resetting. Fix IP options. Fix IP options. Changing. Fix IP options changing in options menu on display resolution change. It reads horrible. Can we describe this better? Fix IP options changing. No, it reads bad. Fix I don't know. There probably is a nice way to describe this. Can maybe describe it similar to how we described it here. Yeah. Prevent IP options from changing when changing the display resolution in the options menu. Prevent IP options from changing. Let's say prevent IP. Is it only the IP options? Yeah, the other ones. There might be bugs with the other ones, like not saving or so, right? But the biggest issue is the IP options. Yeah. Prevent IP options from changing when changing the display resolution in the options menu. Prevent IP options from changing prevent IP options from changing when prevent IP options from changing. Prevent IP options from changing when changing the display resolution in the options menu. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it better. I think we have to live with that for now. Good. Then I will replicate this to generals. Okay. There we go. Replicate in generals. Okay. Good. Prevent IP options from changing when changing the display resolution in the options menu. Okay, and this one fixes this problem. It's not a network issue. It's a GUI issue. Fixes that. Labels, bug, critical, GUI, gen, ZH, milestone, major bug fixes. This change prevents IP options from changing when changing the display resolution in the options menu. This is a critical issue because this is the number one reason why people are unable to connect to networks after their IP was changed without notice. Okay. Okay. There's no division between success and failure. There are atomic operations that do like compare and swap. What is CIS? Compare and store? What does CIS mean? I forgot. CIS meaning... No. CIS multi-threading meaning compare and swap. Load operation with this memory order performs the acquire operation on the affected memory. Okay, I wonder... Okay, so basically we need to figure out now whether Cabal 009 is correct or ChatGPT is correct, right? Only one of these can be correct. One of them has to be wrong, right? So who is right? The question is, where does ChatGPT get its information from that that this is a correct one? And where does Cabal get the idea from that his modification is correct, right? So we need to figure that out. Let's see. Memory order acquire, a load operation with this memory order performs the acquire. Man, what's going on here? That music sucks. A load operation with this memory order performs the acquire operation on the affected memory location. No reads or writes in the current thread can be reordered before this load. All writes in other threads that release the same atomic variable are visible in the current thread. Test and set. What is the default of test and set? Test and set. It has a default, right? The default is memory order SEC CST, whatever that means. Load operation with this memory order performs an acquire operation. A store performs a release operation. My gosh. There's only shit music here, man. Okay, what is this? What is this? What is this? Read, modify, write operation. Is this memory order? Acquire operation and a release operation. No memory reads or writes, and the current thread can be reordered. No reads or writes, and the current thread can be reordered before this load. All writes in other threads that release the same atomic variable are visible in the current threads. Then, okay. So this to me, it reads like this would be sufficient. Right, there's no reordering of reads and writes in the current threads. That covers everything. And we see all writes of other threads. Yeah. So then why do we need this here? Read, modify, writes. No, after the store. Okay, let me do some DuckDuckGo searching. What is this? Test and set, right? Test and set. Memory order acquire and acquire. Let's see what kind of hits we get here. Memory orderings. Lock. So this one also does it with a memory order acquire, and here's the release. Spin lock. So here he also uses this. Okay, it's more than 2 threads use a spin lock. The acquire semantic of the lock method is not sufficient. Okay. Now the lock method is an acquire release operation. So the memory model in line 12 has to be changed to that. But that is still cheaper than the default. More than 2 threads use a spin lock. More than 2 threads use a spin lock. More than 2 threads. Okay. This article agrees with your change proposal. In case more than 2 threads use a spin lock, the acquire semantics of the lock method is not sufficient. Now the lock method is an acquire release operation, so the memory model in line 12 has to be changed to that. Good. Well, we have some confirmation that apparently this is correct. Then, yeah, we would just put here labels, fix minor. Proof. Okay, this one fails to compile somehow. Okay. Why? Oh, this again. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Okay, I think we can also merge this change here. Yeah, this one has been approved. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Delete branch. Okay. Let me get some water here. Okay. Okay, good. We're making progress here. Let's give the music one more chance, yeah? Let's see this here. Okay. Okay, so once now this is done, what is the next problem we should look at? There still is a question about the microwave tank. The microwave tank. The microwave tank has this one issue where it causes a black screen on some machines. On my machine, it doesn't cause a black screen, but I don't see the effect. So at least I can reproduce some problem. It basically is broken. It just doesn't do anything. Maybe we can work with that. At least make it work. And maybe that also fixes the problem. Yeah. For that, we would need to understand how this microwave effect works. So let me open, let me change the resolution. And then we go to skirmish. And we go to yeah, this one. Okay, see, actually the heat effect actually turned on. Hold on. Yeah, it's turned on. Okay, let me see. By the way, before we dive into that, let me see. Author Helmut Buhler. Yeah. He has 9 open. Here, this one. So what is the plan with this change? Keep. What is the plan with this change? Keep the arguments. Improve them later. Improve the command line arguments. Improve them later. Should I do that? Or not? What was his take? Combining headless mode with any other command line option other than the replay play Playback doesn't make sense. So I don't see the benefit of making this an explicit option. There are some command line options where there is no sense to show GUI. But those options can set headless to true themselves. Yeah. Good. Then let me test this microwave tank. There it is. Yeah. So as we can see, there is no heat effect on this guy, right? Yeah. It looks... There's a bit of light clipping, particle clipping maybe, but nothing really. Yeah. Okay, so I think we are looking for smudge, right? Smudge. Smudge. Let me see. Smudge manager. Smudge manager. Draw at most 50 smudges. Okay. Okay. Fill up the index buffer with static vertex indices that will be used for all smudges. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Quad. 4 triangles. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 0, 1. 0, 1, 2. So this is one triangle. And 3, 3, 4, 5. Top. So 0, 4, 3. 3, 4, 2. 2, 4, 1. And 1, 4, 0. Yeah, okay. 4 triangles. Okay. Why are the triangles made like this? Why is this not 2 triangles? Like you could have 0, 1, 2. That's one triangle. And then 0, 3, 2. That's another triangle. Like, why does it have to be 4? This could be 2 triangles. Or is there like a specific reason for that? I wonder if it can be simplified. But, I'm not sure what this will be used for. Draw size is 500. What? It says 50 smudges, and here is the value is 500. What? What? how does this? Four triangles per smudge, each with 3 indices. Yeah. 50 smudges. Okay, so I have multiple questions. Why is the triangle like this? Why does it use 4 instead of 3? Why does it say 50 here and 500 here? What is going on there? Yeah, I have questions. Okay, let's keep on going. Maybe we take a look at the... oh, there's not so much here. Look at that. I thought this class would be much bigger. Use copy recs was an old method. Okay. Background texture. Copy recs. Copy the area of back buffer occupied by smudges into an alternate buffer. Okay, and why? What does that do? Back buffer. Okay, how about we put a breakpoint here in this render function and see what happens. So, oh shit, we should de-optimize this garbage. Okay. Good. Okay. Okay, so interesting that it calls this function even though there's no microwave tank on screen. Let's see, what does it do? Nothing. Verify that the card supports the effect. Oh. That fails. Well, that's interesting. Get render texture. Is this maybe only failing because we don't have it on screen? Hold on. Let's have it on screen. Let's put the breakpoint. Okay, now it gets past it. It's only when it's not on screen. Okay, that's a bit misleading, this function name. Yeah, that's a bit misleading. Okay. The color feed. Okay, so there's a matrix, two matrix. Okay. There's a back texture, get render texture. Okay. Set, while set, smudge, transform vector. Get 5 view space vertices. I have no idea what that means. Okay. Okay, so far, so good, I guess. It just gets a bunch of coordinates here. Now what? One. Smudge. What is this? Man, for how long does it go on here? Count 110. Okay. Okay, now what? Back texture. Back texture. Texture. Back texture. count. Flush smudges. Flush smudges. VB excess. Okay. I'm not sure what this means here. Times 4 and times 5. What is this? I don't understand. How does this number come to be? Vertices, indices. Indices count divided by 3. I have no clue how this comes to be here. Times 4, times 5, why? It clearly does something here. It's hard for me to say whether all this is correct, but it does work. Smudge is remaining 0. And then things are done. Is there anything coming after? Do particles. Yeah. Screen smudges, which are particles that distort the background behind them. Yeah. Clear all the smudges after rendering since we fill again each frame. Yeah, okay. I think we need to get a proper understanding of how this thing works here. Right now I don't fully understand this. How about we ask ChatGPT to break this down for us? Maybe that helps a bit with understanding. Can you break down the following function as far as possible? Can you break down and explain the following function? Explain the critical workings, the critical inner workings of the following function, following C++ function. I mean, it won't understand like some of the things I get, but yeah. Specialized renderer and W3D, drawing smudges, visual artifacts like dirt, scorch marks, or craters. Well, not really. Checks whether current GPU obtains a view and projection matrices to convert world coordinates to screen space. Okay. Viewport scaling. Tactical view. Calculates how screen space coordinates map to texture UV coordinates. Clamp scaling used for render to texture. Identify visible smudges. Loops through all smudge sets and their smudges. Transform the center into view space. Generate 5 vertices per smudge. A quad plus center for blending. Convert them into screen. I forgot what UV stands for. What does UV stand for? Axis. Oh, right. Right. It's a stupid name. Why is it not just called XY? Yeah. UV. Okay. Top left, bottom right. Yeah. It's weird that the texture has it named like UV. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so clamp if they go off screen, calculate the center based on interpolated corners. Why this pass? To determine how many smudges are visible and prepare vertex data for the second pass. Background capture. Copy rects method copies part of the back buffer into a texture. Likely for screen-based distortion effects. Set rendering state. Sets world view matrices to identify we are now in screen space. Loads the correct shader, usually with alpha blending, and sets a texture. And the smudges and badges. Because the hardware can only handle so many smudges at once. Dynamically allocate a vertex buffer. Copies vertex data. Sets vertex buffer and draws smudges as triangle fans quads. Loops until all smudges are rendered. This is done in batches, typically of size. Okay. Each smudge has 5 vertices, 4 corners in the center. The center blends the quad. What does that mean? The center blends the quad. Color. Allocates and locks vertex buffer. Go to. Use to bay early and flush if current batch is full. Clamp UVs. Prevents sampling outside valid texture bounds. What the function does. Check if smudge rendering is supported. Sets up camera and screen projection. Converts word space. Prepares render. Okay, so far it seems it does make sense. I still don't know how exactly all this stuff works. For example, I don't know why is this like this 5 vertex quad. A modern GPU might use instancing. What is this? Why does this use a 5 vertex quad? Could it not use 2? Yeah. Let me just ask that. Where does it use? Great question. Well, it's not really a great question. Random could use a 5 vertex quad, not for a typical 2 triangle quad. Yeah, that would have been my guess here. But because of a specific rendering technique that blends a center point with 4 surrounding corners. Soft blending via center vertex. Vertex 4 center has its own color in alpha, typically more transparent. This allows the shader to create a soft smudge or fade effect from the center outward. The color alpha gradient is more nuanced than just blending across 4 corners. Triangle fan or index drawing pattern. Triangle 1 for 1 center corners to form a 4 triangles like. This keeps the GPU draw all compact and still achieves a smooth fade. I wonder if the order matters. Where was it? Here. So this one, does it use the same order? This one uses 401. Four 412, 423, 430. Like I think the GPU cares like in what order we draw, right? The vertices. So here it goes from 0 to 4 to 3. Hold on. How does this work? Clockwise, counterclockwise, triangle draw. Yeah. Can someone explain the simpler? So 0, 4, 3. So that's counterclockwise. 3, 4, 2. Also counterclockwise. 2, 2, 4, 1. That is 2, 2, 4, 1. Is also counterclockwise. 1, 4, 0. Also counterclockwise. Do we need in which direction do direct x8 triangles, which direction needs triangles be drawn in direct x8 to be visible? Counterclockwise. Okay. Front facing. Okay. So that looks correct then. All right. As far as I can tell. They are all counterclockwise here. So that seems fine. Yeah. VB count. VB count. IB count 12. My assumption is that all this triangle stuff is probably all correct, right? Because otherwise this effect would have never worked to begin with. So perhaps it's just a matter of setting some of these flags here. Shader. Like setting the shader or some of the texture stages, or I don't know. One of these things. Preset opaque shader. What is this? Right, the same one. Okay. I wonder if it has something to do with getting the back buffer and not locking it or something like this. Back buffer. Back buffer. Copy. buffer. Acquire resources. Yeah. Yeah. Could it be reacquire resources? When is this called? I guess this is also called every frame or not? What's happening? No? No, it's not. It's probably just called on resets. Okay. Copy rects. Okay. Copies a portion of the current render target into a specific buffer. Okay, where is this called? Here. Test hardware support. Surface. Yeah, I'm not sure what to look for here. Yeah, could be anything, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, clearly it goes through all the things. It does something. But the question is, Keep drawing smudges until we run out. Yeah. Lock. Right, lock. Yeah, right now I have no idea where we should start digging into. It does something. It does something. But how can we figure out? I'm not a renderer guy, so really this for me is not something that I'm used to. I have really no clue about how this rendering stuff works. So I can only guess here. There probably is some debugger that maybe gives some intel on things. Yeah. Probably need a GPU debugger. Yeah. Question is like, what tooling is there for DirectX 8? Yeah. I mean, this class is not too big. Right, so it's possible that just by studying the code a bit that we find something odd. Let me put a breakpoint here. Let me step into that function, see what it does. Okay, so it has done the check and it succeeds, yeah. Preset alpha shader. What is that thing? Is this shader used for anything else as well? Preset alpha shader. Yeah, it's used for some things. Okay. Okay, what is this back texture? What is that? Get render texture. What is get render texture? Render texture. Returns texture containing the image that was last rendered using any of the effects requiring rendered target textures. Used mostly for cross-fading effects that need an unmodified version of the view before the effect was applied. This texture does not survive device reset. I have no idea what that means. VW. Cull mode. Do we set a cull mode? No. If your smudge triangles aren't showing, check both the vertex order and the culling mode. I mean, I guess what we can do is do we set render state here at any points? Render, apply, render state changes. How's this set? Cull mode. Set render state. Okay, just to be sure, how about we say here, before we apply those state changes, what is this here? This. No, just to be sure. Probably will not change anything, but who knows? I don't know, do we need to maybe apply it even earlier? All right, let's put it here. Um, Given the above render function, what things should what aspects can I look into when I do not see the smudge effects at all? Okay, this one I did check, yeah, is rendering to texture. Okay, I did not just go through the returns. Yeah, okay. That's okay. What is this? Clamping. Smudge may be skipped or show no effects. Make it vanish. Smudge opacity is in 0. Okay, what is that? Let me just recompile with the change we just did to see if anything has changed. Oh, the screen was black for a moment. Aha. Okay, we can reproduce the issue suddenly. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen that in a while. I'm not sure if that's because I put the color mode change in there. Maybe it is, maybe not. Okay, but we don't see the... Yeah, we don't see the effect. We see blackness. So this is a typical issue. Whoa. Okay, that's great. So we can debug this, at least something. What happens if we put a breakpoint here? Diffuse. Colors look FEEDD. View. What does it say? If smudge opacity is 0, the center vertex becomes fully transparent. Opacity is 1. Vertex buffer is being written. Make sure this block actually fills vertices. Yeah, let me see that then. What? What is this returning? Why does it go to win status? I think it's just the debugger being weird. Okay. Vertices. Right log class. Maybe it's something that something is not locked or so. Some buffer. Yeah. Are these shaders and materials valid and bound correctly? I have no idea. Is VMAT appropriate? I have no idea. Alpha blending in there? I have no idea. How do I know? I have no clue. I guess you can put a breakpoint here and see if that returns something. It does. Set material. Texture stage states. If UVs or texture filtering are off, you may see nothing. If smudge vertices are arranged CV and culling is set to CCV, triangles are discarded. Try set render state to debug visibility. What? Ah, set it to none. Debug draw mode. Wireframe. If geometry is being submitted at all. If you see wireframes but no textures, texture issue. If you see nothing, geometry not submitted. Okay, that's a good idea. Okay. It occasionally draws the entire scene black when looking at this, when the smudge is rendered. What could the error, what kind of error could that indicate? Occasionally draws the entire scene black when the smudge. That indicate. Turns black when the smudge effect is rendered. It strongly suggests a problem related to render targets, texture usage, or GPU pipeline state corruption. Jesus Christ. You're copying or using a background render target, back texture. If that render target was never populated correctly, was used without resolving its content, or was used as both input and output in the same pass, it can result in undefined output, often solid black. Is back texture ever cleared? Ensure that it is not currently set as a render target and being read from as a texture. Reading from the render target while it's bound causes undefined behavior. Okay, we have some clues here. That's good. We have some clues. Okay, let's take a look at this render texture then. Get a render texture. and render texture. Returns texture containing the image that was last rendered. Where's this thing used? Is this used in many places or just in the smudge? Aha, it's just used in the smudge. Is that a problem? Okay, so it's unique to the smudge. Okay, that's already interesting. Post-render. Post-render. Text and render to texture. I have no idea what this means. Populated correctly. Is back texture even ever cleared or reused correctly? Ensure that it is not currently set as the render target. If these states are not restored after smudge, set shader. Smudge. If a shader uses wrong inputs, it can corrupt the pipeline. Save and restore rendered state. Okay, let me do this wireframe thingy. Yeah. So we do cal none and fill mode wireframe. see what that does. Yes. Okay, well, that doesn't help much. Okay, but now the blackness is consistent. Yeah. Blackness is consistent. If when we set the cull to none. Okay. Okay, let me disable the wireframe. Okay. Now we see no blackness. Okay. Let's just do wireframe. Let's see what that does. Yeah, it would be interesting to see if at least the geometry looks okay. Right? Yeah. Okay, the wireframe totally screws this up. Maybe we have to set wireframe somewhere else. There's a command line argument for wireframe. It's in debug. Pass wireframe. M wireframe. Okay, how about we just flip wireframe to true? Oh, it's compiled out. as much. Aha. What do we have here? Let me enable this down here. Maybe that helps a bit investigating. Okay, so we do see, oh, now we actually do see the effect. Look at that. Huh. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. So when the debug is turned on, we do actually see the effect. How's that happening? Alpha blend enable false. Okay, what is it doing here? So clearly it is doing something. I'm surprised that the smudge is so far off the center here to the side. Let me slow this down here a bit with the FPS limit. There we go. Okay, that's really strange. Okay, I would say I would take a break here. I have no clue what's going on. I guess we can try to figure out what exactly fixes the problem when we enable this debug code. Like maybe it's one of these render states that we need to have enabled. Interesting. It's also interesting, it calls again draw triangles, same another time. It enables wireframe here. I wonder what happens if we remove this and this. So we have solid. I have no clue. No, that doesn't work. So what if we do the first one? So strange. Okay, that doesn't work. Okay, that's really finicky here. why does this work and then the other does not? What is this? Select arc 1. What is this? Huh. Disable reading texture alpha since it's undefined. But it says disable reading texture alpha since it's undefined, but it then does something here with the alpha. Disable reading texture alpha. Disable reading texture alpha since it's undefined. What does this do? Modifies how texture computes a final alpha value for each pixel. Alpha op, this sets the operation that determines how the alpha channel is calculated. To ignore the texture's alpha. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So do we maybe have to set this here because that one is not set somehow? Let me do that. Let me do that. No, it doesn't do anything. Okay. Okay, I have no clue why uncommenting this would make it work, but it is a lead. We can figure out like what this does. Try to understand it. Very strange. Color OP, select arc 2. Huh. strange. Okay. I will keep studying this next session. I have no idea what this is doing. No. But it seems to be something with these stages. Yeah. No idea. Okay. Okay. But here we need to oof. Here we need to re-trigger the rerun the job. AX AX. No, I meant no. What? Jesus Christ. I'm so confused. Okay. I have to study this again. Jesus Christ. Oh. Good. Good. We didn't make much progress here with a microwave tank, but we did fix menu option menu bug, so that's good. Yeah. Good. Good. All right. Then I will end here. I wish you a great day or night. Until next time. Goodbye.